Joe Biden declares that there is no evidence that people make their decision based on tax hikes. Here's a little clip of Joe Biden declaring that taxes have no effect on how people decide to live their lives.
Are you worried that a higher tax will drive corporations
Not at all.
Though?
Not at all. Look, the tax, because there's no evidence of that. The tax was 36%. It's now down to 21%. And the idea that's bizarre. We were talking about a 28% tax that everybody thought was just fair enough for everybody. The idea is here you have 51 or 52 corporations of the Fortune 500 haven't paid a single penny in tax for 3 years. Come on, man.
Wow. Well, this is a bunch of malarkey because I'm sure that many of you know somebody, and maybe that includes me, that left high tax regions of the country to lower tax regions because it affected their bottom line, what they could spend, what they could put into their family's pocket. I'm sure that any number of people have done this. You cannot live in California and not have that be an overhang as to your decision-making process. That is a mighty shadow that it casts, the taxes that they take and then give away. For example, California gave $31 billion to convicts, to people that were scamming the system because they didn't have sufficient checks and balances in place to catch the fact that they were sending out thousands of prepaid cards or checks to the same address, because this is what Gavin Newsom does. No need for an ID with voting, no need for an ID or any type of checks when you're handing out taxpayer money. Yeah, these are part of the reasons that people leave and go somewhere else. Furthermore, corporations, when you raise the marginal tax rate on them, they have a fiduciary duty to do what's in the best interest of their shareholders. And guess what? They pick up and they go somewhere else in order to save money, because that is what the executives are being paid to do. It's in everybody's interest not to see money go to the federal government, not to go to see the state governments, which absolutely waste it, and the aforementioned $31 billion that Gavin Newsom is personally responsible for, because the buck stops with him. And the same thing with the federal government. You realize that this infrastructure bill that they are going to pass, this $2 trillion worth of spending, they're just keep on cranking it up as if it's going to have never any effect on the US dollar being the world's reserve currency, as if Bitcoin or, unfortunately, the Chinese yuan can't take it over. Okay, it's unlikely the Chinese yuan is going to take it over, but everybody's going to put their assets into something that can't be faked, and that's Bitcoin, because what you're doing is you're just printing dollars and you're siphoning off the burden and the cost onto future generations. People are going to start losing faith in the US dollar. But anyways, the infrastructure bill, only 5 to 6% of it goes to actual infrastructure. The rest of it goes to bailing out states that mishandled the COVID epidemic, like good old California, a political favor, into infrastructure regarding human beings, like paying for critical race theory classes, etc., etc. And this is what we're spending money on. And Joe Biden doesn't think that some people might have a problem with it that are knowledgeable, that earn a decent amount of money and aren't going to move. This simply isn't the case. Also, when you raise the marginal tax rate, part of the reason that the market jumped when Trump originally got elected in 2016, making a lot of people look rather foolish who said that the market is going to plummet if he gets elected, is because he lowered the corporate tax rate. Now, what this does is it takes the government out of your pocket. You suddenly get an extra 7% of earnings. Of course, when this price of a stock is based on the value of their current and future earnings, this is going to raise the price of the stock. It's a very simple mathematical game. So don't believe for a second what Joseph Biden is telling us. Don't think that people don't make decisions based on consequences of taxes and what is going into their families' pockets. It's really, really simple human nature, which the left continually tries to deny. I made a video about this yesterday. They try to deny human nature over and over again, not realizing that people are basically selfish creatures that act in their own best self-interest. And when you construct a game where somebody has to benefit somebody else in order to get ahead, that's what they do. When they can simply steal, when they can reach into somebody's pocket, when there's no consequences for not paying the rent in terms of the moratorium on evictions, or when you defund the police and there are no police around and people say, hey, even if I break into somebody's house, nobody's going to catch me. I'm going to give it a shot. Not me personally, but people that think in such a manner where integrity is zero. And once again, Joe Biden can't possibly believe what he just stated. Y'all shouldn't either. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, all notifications. YouTube does not notify anybody, and share the video because, again, YouTube doesn't like other points of view that are not the neoliberal establishment position. So share the video. Thumb it up. Peace.